important is the mentors to you? Who are you learning from? How are you taking the information and applying it to your mission, your vision?
So my mentors, I'll be honest with you, every single one of my mentors are very smart, very smart, um, very straightforward. They love me unconditionally. So I have many mentors. My grandmother, Dr. Margaret Anderson, was as a doctor in education. So truth be told, I always wanted to make her make her proud of me. Um, I truly believe she's the smartest grandmother. But my other mentors, I always wanted to make them proud as well. They just stayed on me and they never gave up on me. Dr. Kerry Camp, Dr. Sherman Green, um, Dr. Tammy Coward, and many others. Clay Keith, he's one of my mentors. John Bachman, he's one of my mentors. He's from Pittsburgh, and
John?
yeah, John Bachman.
Huh.
Yeah,
I probably have to see if I know him.
yeah, but many more names. I didn't forget. I just can't remember.
Yeah,
off the top of my head. But I just have special mentors that just really helped me along the way, and I talk to them to this day, and I think that means something, and it's something that they share with me. It's like, Dyron, you're always eager to learn, and that's something I had to learn, because we can all we can all come to the table and be like, I know this, I know that, but like sometimes I think the smartest in the room is the one that's quiet, just listening, just sit back, just listen. I mean, the loudest in the room is not really correct. So I learned that along the way. Yeah, but my mentors have played a special, um, s- they've been special in my life, special part of my life and my journey.
So let me ask you this, man. Like, there's kids out there, they may be getting information from this person, maybe getting directions from this person, guidance from this person, and then training from you. Like, what advice would you give them in order for them to be, I guess you got to go through it to be wise, but at least to be aware that all information that may sound good or even may be good, all information that is good may not be good information for you in your journey. How are you helping them dissect that information and then apply it to their journey?
Well, I struggle with that. As me building my big business, I'm not going to say nothing is little about Dog Pound Academy. So building my big business, I get opinions. Even with me being a professional player, I get opinions. Even with me being a life changing mentor, I get opinions, and I've learned to take what I need and just leave the rest behind, without telling a person like I'm really not trying to hear that. So I've learned you have to be respectful when you're declining offers. Um, you don't have to take every offer, but I truly believe you should just listen to just figure out what you can take and what you can't take. And I tell it to my players, you, you, for me, I tell it to them, you have to listen and believe in the people who's been there since day one. That's a rule of mine, man. If you've been there since day one, I feel like I should at least give you, a chance to tell me something. And I tell it to my players. Someone doubted you or thought you couldn't do something. I wouldn't listen to them. That's me. I'm still growing from that.
We all are.
Yeah, man. It's tough for me because if you doubted me, I'm not trying to hear anything you have to say, and that could be detrimental sometimes. But I'm growing, But I just keep pushing, And my wife tells me to just keep going because she doesn't care what someone thinks or this and that. She's going to keep going. So I get that from her, who's the boss. She is the boss. She helped me with that. But once again, I tell my players just to bump your own head. Fall on the ground and bump your own head. Don't listen to what somebody else have to say unless you're going down that path. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like it's very important for people to bump their heads. Um, and I say that I don't have kids. I do have a little niece who's about to turn 2. And there's just some things she got to learn on her own. Like, you want to protect them. You want to save them this heartache, save them this trouble. sometimes they just got to learn it on their own. So
Is that hard for you with her?
it's not as hard as it would have been if I was younger.
Wow.
If I was younger, I'll probably be very, very, even more overprotective with her.
Wow.
But now, like last night, like she fell off the couch, like she was jumping up and down because she's in gymnastics, so she's jumping up and down on the couch. I let her jump up and down on the couch because that's what she want to do. And then it was just like I knew what came with it, and she found out what came with it as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, that time she did like about 10 jumps. She only failed once, so she really was successful at it.
Right. Facts.
So now she picked up that confidence, but
Yeah.
I know it came with it.
Yeah.
So like if I was younger, I probably been like, sit down, But it's just like I allowed her to be a freak. I allowed her to go out there and try it on her own and bump her own head.
with my king man, that 8-month-old king man, he's man, that boy's so special. I'm protective with him, man. I'm very protective with him. So I'm praying to God for me to ease that on. But that's my big man, and I just want him to be good. He's gonna be good. He's gonna be good in life, I promise. His dad and mom gonna always make sure.
I was gonna say it sounds like you got some very great parents.
Yeah.
That's always a blessing to have great parents, man. So
Yeah, he's spoiled, and truth be told, he should be. He's ours, and we thank God for him.
as long as he respectful, as long as he works hard, as long as he know what he want to do in life, he just really getting the training from you, like same training you giving everybody else kids, pouring it into your child.
Yeah.
Like he gonna be special. He gonna continue to be great. So
And he doesn't have to play basketball, man. I come to grips with that. He's gonna be successful in whatever he decides to do. But he will be successful. But if he do decide to pick up that ball, that's a different subject. Yeah, we in the gym 8 days a week. Not even 8 days. See, we in the gym 7 days. Yeah.
nah, it's crazy that you say that. Even if you don't want to play ball, because I have this cousin, right, and so his son probably like 6'5", 6'6". He played basketball out there in Frisco.
Right.
And he had some opportunities to go play college ball. And his dad obviously wanted him to go play college ball. But then he told his dad he wanted to go be like, I want to say like some type of doctor.
Right.
He's very smart, very bright guy, very bright guy. So he ended up going to Arizona. He's a Sun Devil now. And he's out there doing his school and this and that. And so my cousin, his dad just made a post on Facebook, and he was expressing how, like, his son came to him and said he didn't want to play. But then his son is out there killing it in the classroom.
Right.
To where they asked him to become a professor as like an assistant of one of the classes. And so he made that post. He's like, I don't put nothing out there personal, but I had to share this, And the first thing I thought of, I was like, man, great job. And I said, great job on allowing him to follow his passion.
That's tough.
Because a lot of parents will try to live through their kid. And I mean, I'm not a kid. I mean, I'm not a parent. I don't have a kid.
Yeah.
So I can't say what's right, what's wrong.
Right.
I just know, like, as a kid, growing up, like my mom, and my stepdad, my dad, and my stepmom, they gave me the freedom to be who I wanted to be.
Right.
They exposed me to some things. I was exposed to some things. And at the end of the day, it was like, what is it that you want to do? And obviously my passion was sports because that's what I was around most of the time.
Yeah.
But technology was definitely a passion that I had growing up. And I feel like my mom, she's seen that.
Right.
And so she invested into that passion. She would have the computer around. I would have the CDs, burn the CDs, She would see me wanting to be an entrepreneur. So she would invest into my businesses and things like that. So I give kudos to my mom, my stepdad, my dad, my stepmom for being there and allowing me to follow my passion. And that's very important, man, as a kid to get that support instead of like not having that support.
Right.
Because my cousin could have easily been like, nah, bro, like, I don't want you to just go to school. Like, you finna go play ball. And now it's like the kid is going to school to play ball, but he don't really want to play ball. It's like,
He's gonna grow up and resent him.
exactly.
Exactly. You hit the perfect point. And we have been very successful at Dog Pound Academy because we have some parents. Well, most of our parents really listen. Most of my parents really let their kids be who they who they need to be. And I push that too. We can't make them before anybody sign up. That's what else makes me different. You know, anybody else looking to collect a check, but before they sign up, that's the first thing I tell the parents. Like, do they want to play? Because if they don't want to play, I'm not going to take the money. I'm not going to waste um, none of our time. And that's like once again, that's the first thing that's the first thing I ask, man.
So have you gotten pretty good or great at seeing what parents is going to give you trouble, what parents may be easy to work with? Like,
Absolutely, man.
like as there's trainers out there or there's business owners out there that's listening to this.
Yeah.
Like, what advice would you give to people that may come across these I would say these difficult customers up front before the journey even starts?
Um, once they show you who they are, that's who they are. And when I first started, my company, I just used to like accept everybody, because I was getting my name out there. Now I sit back and I go to games. I really go to games to watch parents. I'll be honest with you. My kids too, but I go to games just to really see how the parents react because I think the kids' attitudes come from the parents. I think it starts with the parents, seriously, at home. I check to see how respectful parents are, how respectful the kids are. But I am selective. Now I am very selective, and I thank God for giving me my discernment of that. And yes, man, I sit back and I'm quiet because as a business owner, no matter how you feel, you can't just blurt things out. All right. The public eye is looking at you, everyone is looking at you, and you got to hold yourself to a certain degree. You got to hold yourself to great things, because all you have to do is act out one time and that's it. So yeah, man, I'm very selective now. Yes, I have been burned before. And I have, it was times I made the mistake over and over. But once again, I thank God for my discernment now. And the parents that I have, man, they're some of the most supportive parents, man. And I just know how to pick them now. I know how to pick them. Same thing with my players. The evaluation is the best thing we could have done. I evaluate you before we even take you to the program. It's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, but I have to evaluate you first to just see if this is a great fit. And that's something that win the parents over too, because in businesses, you can just come off and say, hey, man, just sign up for this, that. But okay, so if you signing up for 24 sessions and you lazy or you late every day for 24 sessions, man, for me, that's 3 months.
Yeah.
And you come in the gym and you bring the whole gym energy. You bring down the whole energy.
Yeah.
No, for real, you bring
Nah,
down the
real talk,
energy.
though.
And then now,
I can see that.
now I'm mad because you came in the gym and brought down the energy. Now I still got to train 5 more kids, but I'm already mad. Not being honest.
Nah, that's real,
That's
bro.
what I had to.
That's real.
That's what I had to. That's another subject that I really hold myself accountable on. I feel like no matter how hard of a day you're having, some of these kids, most of my kids, lights up when they enter Dog Pound Academy, man. So I have to be mindful of that. I have to be real mindful of that. They coming in and I'm cursing and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Like, well, Coach Black, I just got cursed out at school. I just, So yeah, man, I look at that and my discernment is on point. And I just learned to go with my first mind. Once you show me what it is, then that's what it is. And it's hard to come back from that with me, So
Yeah, that discernment, everything, huh?
yeah, man. I mean,
Save you that heartache or that trouble at the end of the day.
yeah, man. But it's you're still because you want to help
Because you're
everybody.
helping
Yes,
service,
man.
helping business,
So it's
helping
like
mission.
yeah, I'm not trying to say yes to you and no to this person, but if you have a great attitude, but if you have an attitude every time I talk to you, just being honest, that's you would rather work with, so what's so hard for me because sometimes I was that kid with the attitude.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying, man?
Me
So
too.
it's only by God's grace that I'm doing this, because I look at it, maybe God gave me this young man or this young lady with an attitude for a reason. And but you know what I had to realize? Some of my coaches washed their hands with me because of my attitude. Seriously. And then when I fixed my attitude, came back, could have been years down the line, stuff like that. I apologize for that because I didn't know I was that bad, or I had that. We don't look at ourselves and say, "Oh, I got a messed up attitude." Some of us, we get to saying is this person, that person, and that's something that really helped me in my life, man. My accountability. I think that's my number one trait.
Man,
Yes, man. I'm very accountable. And it took me, a while to become that way, but I believe things happen because of you. Whether it's negative or positive, that's on you.
how you respond to it for sure. And even if it is like, because it's all cause and effect. That's what life
Yeah.
is. So even if you did cause it, you gotta look yourself in the mirror and be like I'm wrong. Like where we go from here.
But see, but you have to be able to talk about that too.
Yeah.
So I think we need to grow more, and this is what I teach my players. And me and my friends talk about this as well. Like, okay, you did this, right? You did this. You hurt me. You hurt my feelings. You did this. Let's talk about this. Not just, okay, I did that. Let's move on. No, man, I really want to talk and just understand why you did that.
Yeah.
Or if I did something, it sucks, man, getting up there, apologize and knowing that you did something wrong. But I feel like you grow when you do things wrong and you got to pick yourself up. Or, you dug that hole
You dug yourself
and now
in
you
that
got to
hole.
stay in that hole for a minute and then you looking for somebody to come save you. No, you put yourself in that hole. So something I learned is reaction. You have to be careful how you react to things. You just have to be careful. That's what I teach my players. We can, I want to do this, I want to do that, or I said this, I said that. Okay, so after you said that, or after you do this, what's the consequence? Because it's something.
Right. It gotta be a consequence. Whether that's great or bad. You can take the bad and turn it into great, depending on how you're looking at it.
Yeah.
But you're gonna suffer a little bit. But during that suffering, that's where you become even more stronger, and hopefully you learn your lesson.
And that's the lesson. That's the lesson with me, man. If I put myself down on something, man, I have that will to just get myself, with God, with God's help, I have that will to get myself out of it, man. And like you told me before, like my motivation is that's not common. The way I have the motivation, man. My motivation, and I think me and you match it, man. Dead serious, man. Every single day you the same. And that's why I reached out to connect with you, man. Every single day you're the same. Even if you have in your days, man, I have never seen that. And you probably would say the same thing about me. It's always positivity. Now, once we put the phone down and get out there, we go through what we go through, but you have the you behind you as well, man. Like you have really done great things, man. And your story is something to tell. That's truthful. We just walking around doing what we know God is telling us to do, but people really is looking at us, because we're two stand-up guys, like for sure. Like we have our battles, within ourselves.
Yeah, you gotta
But
have them battles.
yeah, people don't know that, man. People don't know.
Yeah, and that was something I was actually doing, like a Bible study, man. Me and one of my friends, and that was what the lesson was about, with hiding and seeking.